Go. Welcome to a non-Chambler build episode. It's time to get back to my Comanche. This thing's needed brake work for about 3 months now. It got put on the back burner until I got the Chambler not done for the No Name Nationals event, but you know, things happen. Let's jump right into this, and then I got a giant bed full of stuff to take to the recycling center, so let's get to it. There's a car event I wanted to go to tonight. I figured I'd take the Comanche, and the brakes have been feeling a little soft, so I figured I better check them first. And yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to fix the rear brakes or the lines or something. I'll have to figure out what's going on with this thing now. Everything I own needs brakes. Literally, everything I own has either needed brakes in the last month or I've completely replaced them and they still need work. And it's been a week since the last time I was able to touch this thing, so let's see where the brake fluid is. Yeah, the fluid's still there. Well, I'm gonna leave you where you are, pump the brakes, and see if any fluid jumps out. I'll check the video and then I'll see where this is at. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm gonna check the booster, see if there's fluid in it, and look for any active leaks down the back of the master. So I'm not really sure where else it could be. The wheels weren't leaking. I'll check them again, but not sure. So as the video showed, I'm getting air through the system, so I'm gonna go ahead and I guess bleed them again and give everything a once over like I mentioned and see where it's at. It's the most logical thing, but brake fluid just doesn't disappear. Check the booster diaphragm, see if there's any fluid in it. No. One more time just for the hell of it. Yeah, no. So there's no fluid leaking into the booster. There is evidence on the booster body that the master was leaking. It doesn't look active, but I'm going to try to get in there with a light and see if I see any fresh fluid. Looks like it could have been replaced and just never replaced the booster, but not sure. There was no fresh wetness or evidence of a fresh current leak on the booster from the master. I'm going to go ahead and bleed the brakes. Maybe there was some weird air pocket in the system before. I'm going to bleed everything full flush, all new fluid and lines. I'm not done until I've at least cycled a whole bottle through it and see where we're at. Time to get my Comanche up in the air and see if I can figure out what's going on with brakes. Golf cart with a stereo system. All kinds of fun stuff in my neighborhood. Let's go ahead and see what's behind door number 1. I'm gonna have to release the parking brake. That probably would have been a good step 1. The seals are tired, but I'm not seeing any evidence of any leaks, so check the passenger side. No. Well, that explains one problem. Some things are broken, like the adjuster and the shoe lining and the other shoe lining. Oh, and there is a gentle little leak. It's very weird. It's not actually leaking out. Now all I have to do is order more brakes. That's all I do is brakes. For the time being, I'm going to pretend like I didn't see this. Put it back together. That's much dread about the shoe lining in there. Figure since I had the wheels on, I might as well see what they look like on the Comanche. I like it. I wish I had the correct lug nuts and the spacers for those unilugs. I'd throw them on there, but I do not. So like I was saying, I've had parts of this for 2 months, and Chambler just kind of took priority. So I finally am getting around to putting brakes on this thing because it desperately needs them. In the rear, the fronts are fine. Pretty sure I already did them, but I'll look and check. But I know I did at least a rotor in pads, I think. And I know I bled this thing at least once, so. I had to throw this tire force wheel on it because I needed a spare for the Cherokee for my run to No Name Nationals. I'll try to link that video above. I'll take this off, I'll throw the other wheel back on it, and I'll figure out something for a spare for the Cherokee. So, it's got more fertilizer on it, so I'm not gonna be touching that part of it. pull the passenger side wheel and start doing brakes. I believe I only need to do the passenger side wheel cylinder, but we will see. I'm fairly sure. It's been a while. Well, I was going to wait and try to do this a little bit later because I do have Chambler things to do, but it's going to rain the next 2 days, so I need to try to get this done today. I just Craigslist rebuilt the drum, so other than doing the inside, hopefully be able to reuse it. I'm going to go ahead and pull the springs and all the stuff off, clean everything up. When it's time to pull the wheel cylinder off, I'll bring it back in. Got the shoes and the springs off, everything else is cleaned up, so it's time to start getting the wheel cylinder. I always lay out the parts that come off the drum so that you have a good reference. I always also leave one side alone until I'm done, but with all these parts being broken, I figured it's best just put them all in a group, make sure I have the right parts in the bag so I got a full kit. Depending on how the fitting feels and I start to loosen it, I'll end up heating it up. I'm also going to clean all the crap off the bag here once I get the wheel cylinder out. Got to try to do it fast. I don't want brake fluid everywhere. Yeah, I'm going to be putting some heat on it first. First thing I'm going to do is get the bucket of extremely flammable stuff out from underneath the drum. Have a little fire, Scarecrow. I'm going to do a cycle of heating and PB blaster 3 times, and then I should be able to break the line free and keep the line from spinning with the nut, in theory. The reason my face is not back there right now. That's a little warm. Oh, that is way tight. More tools. Oh, mother alive, that's on there. Oh, Jesus. It's still way tight. I'm going to work this line a bunch for like the next 10 minutes, so I'll bring it back when it's starting to get free, because this is going to take me a while. I don't want to have to make a new brake line. The line and the fitting want to come off together, so I'm going to go ahead and break the wheel cylinder free, and hopefully I can simply turn the wheel cylinder out. It's not the way I want to do it, but it is theoretically going to work and not twist up the line. Just a wee bit crusty. This line's got to have a kink in it or a twist in it coming out of the fitting, so I'm going to try to look at it from the top and see if maybe I can wiggle the line a bit. Oh yeah. Assume this is the top of the wheel cylinder. The line is kinked like that to one side, so I'm going to be doing this for a while. I'll bring it back in again. Well, things escalated quickly, and yeah, glad I have new parts. See what I can do to make a flare on this thing. I might be able to squeeze enough length to get it into the wheel cylinder. See how it goes. I hate doing that. Sometimes, no matter what you do, things just don't go the way you want them to. I do theoretically have a new line that I didn't have to use on the Chambler. So worst case, but that's a hell of a lot more work. So hopefully don't do that. We'll see. I have to twist some of this wire guard off of here first to try to get enough brake line to see if I can straighten it. This does make it safer when you are having issues, but it's a pain in the butt to try to adjust it. In the pile. I couldn't get the double chin flaring tool on the line. There's just no space. So I figured I would take the line off completely, because one way or the other I've got to either put this new one on or fix what's existing, and it doesn't want to come off at the union where it meets at the axle. So I'm going to cut this and get it out of my way and fit the wrong line in place. This is for a Cherokee, and Cherokees are spring under, Comanches are spring over, so this is going to require a little massaging, but it's still better than dealing with a lot more crap. I was just going to replace a bad wheel cylinder. Yeah. Well, now I should easily be able to take the fitting out of the union. What a pain in the ass. I'm going to fit the new Cherokee line into the union and then massage it as need be to fit where it needs to go. It'll work. Should work. Gonna work in theory. Well, it doesn't look horrible. It only looks, you know, like, well, it looks like crap. Now to fit everything in the wheel. Got the wheel cylinder in place and I got the line in, which didn't go very bad at all. I'm very happy. Actually went smooth, you could say. Still my finest moment, but it'll work, and that's the biggest thing right now. This car's going to have to get totally rebuilt at some point, but at least it should function, barring some stupidity. Unfortunately, 2 days later, with the weather and just some things came up, the passenger side went back together. Not really any trouble. The driver's side started coming apart just fine. And then I broke the star wheel self-adjuster lever. And I went to weld it together, and it decided to blow itself apart. So it's not going to have a self-adjuster. This rebuild kit did not come with the little lever arm, which is weird because everyone I've ever bought before it has. Wouldn't have been great if it did, because I wouldn't be using bad parts, but these things happen. So brakes on the driver's side, and then bleed them and Good to go. Pleasant update. The driver's side bag of parts does come with a replacement lever arm, which is awesome. Passenger side did not. So I know at this point, but at least I have an arm so I can fully put the brakes together correctly. Yeah, that's a win. The brakes are on both sides of the Comanche, and I just have to put the drums on that I resurfaced, Craigslist style. Bleed them. Look at all this glorious trash just waiting to be scrapped. There's at least $100 back here, and I need the money, and this thing needs to get off on the road and then off the road. This thing will be off the road right before the end of the month because the insurance lapses, and I'm not going to renew it until spring next year. I don't want to drive it and get it any rustier than it is, so hopefully it'll be going to at least one more Jeep event and then slumber time. Well, let's see what the master cylinder looks like. Yep. She's not dry, thankfully. Go ahead and throw some brake fluid in it, and then I'm going to use the vacuum pump to bleed it. Hopefully get the air out a little faster because it is getting dark rather rapidly, and I don't really have time to work on this tomorrow. This needs to be done tonight. Let's see what this vacuum pump can do. Hopefully it's good. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm not building any vacuum. I'm going to go ahead and pump the pedal and try to get the ball rolling a bit, see what happens. Well, you felt. I'll take you with me. Even if it doesn't build vacuum, it'll still hold fluid because it does have that little container, so. Let's go see what happened. Hey, now we're getting fluid. Maybe I can actually get the vacuum to work. Hey, look at that. Oh, look at that. Going to go check the reservoir. Sucked about half the fluid out of the reservoir, so just keep pumping. There's going to be probably a lot of air. It's probably going to take a while. I have to close the bleeder off and dump this thing of fluid and clean off the vacuum pump because it's covered in brake fluid. And I'm covered in brake fluid. I don't know how much of this you can actually see, but I just cracked the driver's side bleeder and it's all fluid. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the passenger side again, and hopefully I'll be done here in a couple of minutes. Fingers crossed. I'll have you guys tell me if you see bubbles, air, fluid, chupacabras. Do a couple more pumps. I'm going to review the footage, make sure I don't see any air in the system because I don't see any air visible. And then this should be done. Finished bleeding the brakes last night, threw the tires on it, go get some gas, see how it does, make sure the brakes work. Then this next job's going to be going to the scrapyard to get all the stuff in the back out. I went today, which was Saturday, to M1 Concourse for a foreign vehicle meet and met a couple guys from YouTube. So I'll list all their channels below and in the link, and go check them out. It was awesome to meet them. You see some shorts and stuff probably before you see this video. And hopefully there'll be more stuff like that this week, but take it for a drive and bring back, show you what's happening. The Comanche's all set. Brakes are good. I've driven about 50 miles since I did the brakes. Works great. And the bed's empty. So all that stuff taken back to the recycler. What I'd hoped would be a decent amount of money, not great, but at least decent. 300 pounds of steel, radiator, heater core, bunch of random aluminum, some wiring, was $36. Scrap value's down right now. All that money goes back into the channel. The Comanche has paid for itself with the scrap runs. Basically, it owes me nothing. It's just a good truck. And other than doing one more event with it, it's going to be away for the winter. Like, share, and subscribe. I hope you're in your subscription, and I will see you next time. Cherokee content, Chambler content, new car coming very soon. I know I keep teasing about it. I'm not trying to, but it's just a matter of fitting it all in. Oh, and shop tours and other stuff. So, see you soon. We'll have one more thing before the end of the year, and then it's probably going to get parked. Why am I jibbery jabbering?